Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. We start off with cricket and we tell you where Pakistan have beaten Sri Lanka. They're now 1-0 up in the series. The team has also arrived in Colombo where they're playing their second test match. Of course, the first one was in Galle, but they traveled today and were able to reach their destination where they will be practicing. Then they take on Sri Lanka in the second test match, which is, of course, the final test match of the series. This was a two-test match series, and considering that they were 1-0 up, we expect them to beat Sri Lanka in the second one as well, because these are crucial points of the new calendar of the ICC World Test Championship. That's why we want Pakistan to do well. But they've been performing exceptionally well. I think the fielding in the second innings has been the talk of the town, and everybody is stunned by the way the fielding was there in the slip cordon, short leg, short mid-wicket, everything in between. And then, of course, you got to applaud Saud Shakil, the player of the match, for his terrific effort and resilience shown by Naseem Shah with the bat, and especially Salman Ali Agha. I'm just loving every bit of him, whether it's the bowling or whether it's the batting. He brings out a lot of positive intent into this Pakistan cricket team, and I'm finally glad that we've utilized him for the test format as well, because I really did not want him to be labelled as a white ball bowler only. So we'll talk about that in detail. And of course, if you talk about the stats, Pakistan so far, under Babar Azam as a captain, you will talk about this, that they're on their way now to have the most victories when you talk about overseas as far as a captain is concerned in test matches. We'll talk about that. Then, of course, we move on to the ACC Emerging Asia Cup, where there's great news because Pakistan A has qualified for the final. They've beaten Sri Lanka A in the semi-final by 60 runs. Arshad Iqbal has picked up his 5-wicket haul. It was a superb performance. First of all, with the bat, they managed to cross that 300 threshold, and the way they've bowled has been absolutely superb. So congratulations to the men in green, being led by Mohammad Haris. They're now into the final of this Emerging Asia Cup of the Asian Cricket Council. So I think great news for Pakistanis all around, because this is a very, very talented side. Then we move on to some more news from the world of cricket, and we particularly talk about, I think, the biggest spectacle of cricket, what we always call it, and in detail, of course, the Ashes. England have been put into a very commanding position courtesy of Zach Crawley, who was unfortunate not to get his double 100, but 189 was a superb performance by this man. I think if you talk about the problems with the English openers, they've been there for quite some time, but the character that Crawley has shown has been absolutely superb. He was followed by Joe Root. They built up a solid partnership. Root also nearing his 100 but couldn't get there, and then of course a late cameo as well. But I like the fact that Moeen Ali was sent at number 3, and I think his half century really set the tone for Zach Crawley and for the English cricket team to play some aggressive cricket. So we'll talk about that in detail. Of course, rain did spoil a lot of the play today, but then again England is still in contention. If you look at the wicket of Joe Root, that ball staying very low was a sign that it's going to be very difficult for the Australian batters once they come out to bat as well. So we'll talk about that in detail. And then, of course, in the last half of the show, it's the latest news from the world of football and transfers as well. A lot of these transfers have been making headlines, and majority of the top players have been heading to Saudi Arabia. So we've got to talk about that in detail. And of course, Miami has also been able to bag a lot of players that are in the rumors now of being signed, including Sergio Busquets, which I think would be the biggest signing if you talk about the current era. So we'll talk about all of this in detail on the show. Time now to introduce the guests. First of all, in studios, we've been joined by sports expert Ali Mehdi. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam. I'm very well, Ahmed.
We've also been joined by cricket expert and cricket analyst Sabir Hussain. Assalamu alaikum, Sabir. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam. I'm fine. Thank you so much.
Well, Sabir, before we start the show, I think from all of us, me, Ali Mehdi, our entire team of Sports Extra and PTV World, would like to wish you a belated happy birthday. We know that you were not in town, but since you're here, so we wish you a very, very happy birthday, and a lot of, I think, joy comes your way, and we pray for all of Allah's blessings as well. So congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much.
Happy birthday, Sabir.
Yes, absolutely. So I think Sabir has got the birthday at the right moment. Pakistan's winning a test match. Pakistan Shines is qualifying for the final, Pakistan A, that is particularly. So Sabir, good things happening for Pakistan cricket so far, especially this test match, because I'll be very honest, me and Asif were having this discussion. Asif was very comfortable that we're going to chase it down. But I was slightly nervous because I thought that, you know, they've gotten enough runs to trouble us, and then they still got 6 wickets.
Absolutely, you know, because the history says, I mean, we are not basically a good chasers. I mean, especially on turning tracks. I mean, we struggled a lot against the left-arm spinners, I mean, whether they are Sri Lankans or the New Zealanders as well. I mean, but I mean, hats off to this Babar Azam, you know, Babar Azam's teams. I mean, especially even young talent likes of, you know, Saud Shakil everybody's talking about likes of some great Pakistani batsmen. I mean, they have been talking about Saud Shakil's technique. I mean, he's the guy. And it could be included in the ODIs as well, because you need to have some kind of a skillful batsman who can accumulate the singles as well and have some odd boundaries as well. And he's the one basically. He plays some wonderful shots against some quality bowling lineup, like Sri Lankan left arm spinners, also off spinners as well. I basically noticed a couple of things. I mean, this basically teams appreciates the efforts of individuals. Like when Saud Shakil was on 97, he basically swept. I mean, there was only two. I mean, heads off to Agha Salman. He basically ran third very hard. I mean, he's the one basically who was shouting for third run, because he's the one who basically was enjoyed a lot. I mean, his century, Saud Shakil's. So this basically shows the mutual respect as well, their happiness as well for others' performance. I mean, and hats off to Babar Azam's captaincy, because on day one, Shaheen Shah Afridi in the last session, he was bowling wonderfully well. I mean, but hats off to Babar Azam. He basically bowled, gave the ball to Salman Ali Agha the last over. So I mean, these are basically some crucial moments of the test match. I mean, so I mean, hats off to Babar Azam. As far as the fielding is concerned, rightly said in the introduction by Ahmed Nawaz, that the Pakistani basically fielding has improved a lot, especially in test matches. We used to have likes of Yunus Khan, especially in the test matches in slips as well, and Imran Butt as well. But I mean, hats off to Imam Ullah.
Absolutely. It's a collective performance, as Sabir mentions. But I think Ali Mehdi, we've seen Saud Shakil, we've talked about him, he's been highlighted, Salman Ali Agha, all these performances have been highlighted. But as far as Babar Azam is concerned, he might not be amongst the runs as we are used to seeing him. But why are we missing out that crucial element of the captaincy that really worked for Pakistan in this test match?
I thought his captaincy was phenomenal this time. I thought the way he used the bowlers too. And the other thing is, most important thing, I think, which Sabir Bhai and both yourself highlighted, was the fielding. I thought some of the catches Pakistan took was phenomenal. Look, we are very critical of Pakistan about its fielding. We dropped catches and everything. But some of those catches, on silly and slip have been absolutely phenomenal. Pakistan was brilliant when it comes to the fielding too. So I think they didn't get anything wrong over there. And then Babar Azam knew his bowling changes too. He used Shaheen and he used Naseem very sparingly, but at the same time too, used his spinners very well, the likes of Salman. When in the second innings in particular, when we weren't getting any wickets, he used Salman Ali Agha, who came in, he got those two important wickets. So he's used his bowlers very well. Fielding has been excellent, but at the same time, whilst he wasn't really amongst the runs too, he gave confidence on the others, especially the likes of Saud Shakil and the likes of, you could say, and then Salman Ali Agha, who actually batted extremely well.
And Ali Mehdi, this was not an easy Sri Lankan side. I mean, if you just look at the intent and the quality shown by Ramesh Mendis and Prabhat Jayasuriya, we really had a run for our money.
Look, I'm extremely scared of Prabhat Jayasuriya. I mean, that guy, you give him any deck in the world, even a flat track, he's going to turn that, like square.
Reminds you of Rangana Herat?
He does. He is. This is the thing with Sri Lanka. When they come with left-handed Chinamen to off spinners to, they're absolutely brilliant, and that's why this is, you could say this is actually a reincarnation of Rangana Herat, the way this Prabhat Jayasuriya has been bowling. Even Mendes, actually, the way those two were in tandem. I'm telling you, Ahmed, that had it not been for Saud Shakil, had we not played well in that first innings, we would have lost this match, because it is close to impossible chasing, a total on this Galle pitch, because the Galle pitch on the fifth day is more or less like a minefield to bat on.
Well, Ali Mehdi, I understand that it's been a tough year for Pakistan as far as test matches was concerned. We talked about, like I said in my introduction, Babar Azam is about to surpass Misbah-ul Haq with the most amount of victories abroad as far as test cricket is concerned. Overseas, Pakistan's not played a lot of cricket at home, but certainly the ones they haven't been able to perform. So it's a good sign that they're winning in Sri Lanka. But how important does this second test match in Colombo become? Because we've had this habit, Ali Mehdi, of winning the first test match and then letting it go throughout the series.
Yeah, like last year too. You talk about the series against Sri Lanka last year. We won the Galle test match where we chased that mammoth total of 350 plus. And then, the second test we got absolutely destroyed by losing about 240-50. Look, what's very important this time is there, Ahmed, and we need to take one thing for sure is one positive is that we're out of Galle now. Galle, that turning track, we're going to the SSC. Now the SSC is a sort of wicket where traditionally and historically is a flat track. I remember way back about 17 years ago, this is the same wicket where I think it was Sangakkara and this Jayawardene had a partnership about 300 or 400. So this is really going to be a run fest over there traditionally at this wicket too. I think the fact that we won this first test match will give a lot of confidence inside Babar Azam, the Pakistani team, that we can go over there and win at the SCC, because now we're going towards our strength, and now that is where our batting will really need to fire.
Absolutely. Sabir, Saud Shakil has been brilliant with the bat. He's one of the reasons why Pakistan were in this test match. But another element that I thought could have worked for Pakistan was Sarfaraz Ahmed. Started off brilliantly when Pakistan were in a lot of trouble, a couple of boundaries. He got really eased the pressure and put the attack back to the Sri Lankan bowlers. But then again, I think the overuse of that sweep is something that caused him his wicket. And somewhat, a little bit of rustiness was still there of coming back to international cricket.
Change their approach. I mean, one might say they have followed baseball cricket. I mean,
right, absolutely, Sabir. You're right on this one. But if we technically look at this aspect as well, we'll be discussing this further. Let's just take a short break, and we'll be right back. And of course, I want to discuss this aspect of the Pakistani batters and their runs average that they've been scoring at a rate of, and that run rate's been very special as well. Right after this short break, stay tuned. Welcome back, and we discuss the test match between Pakistan and Sri Lanka in detail. Pakistan are now 1-0 up in the series, courtesy of their 4-wicket victory against Sri Lanka at the first test in Galle. Now they've arrived in Colombo, where the team will be participating in practice sessions, and then of course they play the second and final test match of the series as well. And now we move on to the ACC Emerging Asia Cup, where Pakistan A has beaten Sri Lanka A by 60 runs in the semi-final and has qualified for the final. A brilliant performance with the bat, first of all, crossing that 300 threshold, and then with the ball we saw a brilliant performance. It is of course mix and match, because people usually gauge Pakistan's performance in any tournament against India, and that sets the tone. But this time the boys have been performing very, very well, and like I just highlighted, that batting and bowling, they've been able to perform very well. So Sabir, a good sign, because some of these youngsters are mostly those who you have talked about a lot.
Absolutely, I mean, heads off to Pakistani young team. I mean, they have been, performing really well, especially in this particular, cup. I mean, heads off to Shanwaz Dani's 5 wickets against Nepal, in the initial stage of the tournament. I mean, and particularly in today's match, I mean, Sri Lanka is a mighty side, because they have some, quality batsmen like Avishka Fernando as well. He basically played for Sri Lanka national team as well. So there are basically good players for Sri Lanka. I mean, but I mean, heads off to, Obey the youngster, the Hurera as well, and then Sahabzada Farhan, a little bit contribution of the captain Mohammad Haris as well. When heads off to Mohammad Arshad Iqbal, I still remember he made his debut against Zimbabwe, the product of PSL as well, likes of Shanwaz Dani, some other youngsters as well, but he took 5 wickets, some crucial stage. I mean, because Sri Lankan were basically, they were cruising, because 200, making 200 for 5, chasing down 323. So I mean, they had some chance, but I mean, heads off to Arshad Iqbal. He basically bowled really well, especially the old bowler as well. So I mean, he picked up 5 wickets, and it will be interesting to see, who will be Pakistan playing the final. I mean, very interesting to see, because Bangladesh and India, they are playing second semi-final. But there are some.
India's been out cheaply now. I would say India is out cheaply. So Bangladesh have got a chance unless they do something very, very stupid.
Absolutely, but they have some quality batsmen. They have young side, very enthusiastic players as well. They always, play some courageous cricket especially against the Indian side. But I was not expecting such kind of performance from Indian batsmen, because they should have made a 280 plus, the kind of pitch they are playing. But it will be interesting, very tricky chase for Bangladesh, because India will be, coming up they are very mighty side. They are basically coming very dangerously.
Ali Mehdi, would you like to see India in the final against Pakistan? First of all, Pakistan's qualified, so you'll talk on that as well. But do you want that monkey off your back and rather face Bangladesh than India?
Look, it doesn't matter. Pakistan in the final, that's the most important thing. Pakistan in the final, they need to defend their trophy. They need to defend their championship. It doesn't matter whether it's either Bangladesh or whether it's India. The fact of the matter is Pakistan goes into the final with confidence after winning by 60 runs. The interesting thing is whether Bangladesh can chase it down. If Bangladesh can chase it down, I think Pakistan have a very good chance. Either way, I think deep down the Pakistanis won the Indians, but they'll be equally happy with Bangladesh because they've gone into that final with confidence at the over there at the RPS.
Well, Ali Mehdi, some people were skeptical, but I like the fact that captaincy was given to Mohammad Haris. He's somebody who's proven himself on the domestic circuit, has led Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in not just the Quaid-e-Azam Trophy, but also the One Day Cup and T20 to glory as well.
Look, that's important too, but the most important thing is he has international exposure. He just played a World T20 final a few months ago, and he's also, he performed extremely well in that semi-final T20. He's an established cricketer in the T20 format, so it's good that they've given him the initiative. You need to give the captaincy armband to somebody who actually has the experience, who's done well on that circuit too, and can actually lead. And I think he's a very good, him along with the likes of, you have a lot of plethora of experienced players, or first team players like him, with Mohammad Wasim Jr. is another one, who's in the Dhani is another one too. So they actually have a very good chemistry inside this Pakistan team, and to give Haris that, I think Haris has actually performed very well, but his captaincy, when it's been tested, up till now it's been up to the mark, other than the match against India.
Absolutely, but that India game, Sabir, is on the back of our minds because we lost to them, considering that we had a very experienced side, and if they do come into the final, then that would be an added pressure that we tend to carry.
Absolutely, because the Indian, they have quality batsmen. I mean, we have seen, in the group stage match as well, because Pakistan was, they basically bundled out, 200 and something, but they chased it down very easily. So when Pakistan would like to, face, Bangladesh rather than India, especially in the pressure of final as well. But the broadcaster will be praying to, the India should be in the final, because of, the broadcaster rights as well. Everybody would love to see, India-Pakistan match, whether it's, the A side or under 19 as well. So, it will be interesting for Pakistani batsmen to perform, because, in the group stage match, Saeem Ayub has to learn, because he has played for national side as well, Hasibullah as well, Saabzada Farhan. Mohammad Haris basically, he basically coming, at number 5, number 6 position. He basically should come at, maybe number 4 position. He basically needs to utilize himself properly, because he has some wonderful shots as well. He's the guy basically who plays really well, especially the new ball. Like he has been playing the domestic circuit as well, in T20s, PSL as well. So Mohammad Haris is the captain. He needs to take the decision very quickly, but heads off to his captaincy as well.
You're talking about number 4. I'd rather have him, Saeem Ayub, and him opening up the innings, because I think that's a great pair for Pakistan.
Absolutely, but I don't know. They are basically making so many changes. After every match,
5 changes in this game, Sabir. In this semi-final, Pakistan made 5 changes in this very game.
We have seen, the Shaheen's basically towards Zimbabwe as well. The captains are basically were changing during the tournament. So this can happen in Pakistan cricket. But this particular tournament heads off to Pakistan.
Absolutely, but we're all very happy. We still want that cup, and I think all of us should be praying for the final as well. But congratulations to this Pakistan A team. Well done, boys, and we're hoping for the very best as far as the final is concerned. Obviously, in a short amount of time, we'll know who they're going to be playing against. Now we take your focus to the biggest spectacle of Test cricket in the world. That is, of course, the Ashes, where England, after their victory in the 3rd Test match, look ever so lethal that they want the 4th one and want to take it to that final and have a chance of getting that Ashes back. Otherwise, it would be retained by Australia, considering the way things were going in the first 2 Test matches. But Ali Mehdi, what a remarkable performance. Considering the wicket and the way Chris Woakes and Mark Wood and everybody were bowling, I actually thought they'll get Australia out, but it was credit to Australia. They got 300 plus runs. But then again, Zach Crawley and Joe Root, that crucial partnership, including Moeen Ali, really has made sure that England stay in the game. And overnight, with a lead of 60, with the ball keeping low, you would expect them to take it to the final.
Look, the most important thing over here is, Ahmed, that England have come out with a plan. They have that fire in the belly. They want to win this badly and take a 2-2 scoreline to the Oval too. And I think they've done absolutely everything correctly. I think Ben Stokes has done the most amazing thing he's done is he's won 4 tosses in a row. So, Pat Cummins was joking that we need to look at that coin. But look, up till now, I think England have been brilliant in the past 2 Test matches. Obviously, the catalyst being Wood and, Chris Woakes coming in. But the most important important thing is over here is getting them out for 317. This wicket doesn't have too much. This doesn't have the same bounce and pace like it used to have back in the day where the ball used to bounce so much. But to bowl out Australia 317 was remarkable too, and some excellent bowling, excellent fielding too. But the way England came out, they came out, full cylinders. They came and Zach Crawley blasting that 189, 180 plus score, assisted by the likes of Moeen Ali, who did very well,
Well, what a brave decision. And Ben Stokes did talk about this fact that Mo actually came up to me and said that I want to bat at number 3.
No, I think it's very brave of it. And look, the most important thing is Moeen Ali has been given a lot of freedom. Before this series, Moeen Ali was told that, look, this is a one-off. You have no pressure on you. Play with freedom. And that's exactly what he's done. People have criticized him, but who cares? This is the Ashes too. You need him right now, and he's bowled very well. You cannot have Harry Brook at number 3. That's failed, that thing. And Ollie Pope is obviously injured. So it's good that they brought Moeen Ali too. Until now, he's scored a very good 50. And with all the players, including Ben Stokes and also Harry Brook getting up 50 plus, I really think that a 200 lead will be excellent for England.
Sabir, do you also believe that momentum has clearly shifted now to the English side? And considering this remarkable decision, Australia wouldn't have expected Moeen Ali to come at number 3, but he did come up the order, played his natural strokes. Some of the cover drives were brilliant and became one of the reasons why he scored, and also made sure that Zach Crawley did not have pressure on his shoulders.
Absolutely, like you rightly said. I mean, Moeen Ali is basically the difference, because the kind of he played, the kind of inning he has played. Basically yesterday, it was marvelous inning. The cover drives of obviously Moeen Ali, and heads off to his basically teamwork as well. He basically came himself to Ben Stokes, the captain. He wanted to come at number 3 as well. He's a very useful cricketer. We always talk about Moeen Ali's performance as well. Heads off to Zach Crawley. I mean, who can forget his double century against Pakistan? I mean, he's the guy basically I always basically talk about. I still remember. Basically, in England, basically they were struggling against India a couple of years ago. I basically I've talked about Zach Crawley. He's the guy basically, he's a proper test match cricketer. But the inning he has played 189, run a ball basically inning against a mighty Aussie bowling attack like Mitchell Starc, Pat Cummins as well, Hazelwood as well. They are basically missing their off spinner Nathan Lyon. But heads off to Zach Crawley, Joe Root as well, not to forget the innings of Joe Root, the reverse scoop to Pat Cummins to, Mitchell Starc as well. They are basically, changing test cricket really well.
But scenes of Chennai there, Ali Mehdi, in England, that ball to Joe Root was something that I've never seen happening in England. And the commentators were very right that although they've gotten a wicket, but the Australian batters won't be happy with the way the ball's kept low.
Look, they won't be happy too, because look, they have to actually bat right now, and they have a deficit of around 200. So it'll be very difficult to bat too, because now look, England bowlers will be licking their lips. They know that this wicket is playing tricks, and Ahmed already they're playing tricks on day 2, day 3 too. So it just shows that as the test match goes forward, there's going to be a lot of problems. The only problem over here that rain could play spoiled sport, because you have 80%.
Well, it did in the morning.
Pardon?
It did in the morning.
It did morning, and there's a match delay right now with England about 508 for 8. So we're hopeful that rain doesn't play.
And it becomes a bit technical, Ali Mehdi, because Ricky Ponting, I saw him out in the field, and he was doing a small piece for Sky Sports where he mentioned this particularly, that he wouldn't mind the rain over here, but the Australian batters won't be happy with this, because that means that they'll have a very short span of time to either defend or get this lead over with if they're able to bat, and that means that more the chances for England, because I don't think England is making probably a think tank or a strategy of coming back to bat. They probably want to wrap this up.
Look, they want to wrap this. They only bat once. But the good news from an Australian point of view is that the forecast is looking really bad in Manchester. And having lived in Manchester, when it rains, it pours over there. So the weather isn't looking good for the next 2 days. But the thing is that now that they've got almost a 200 lead, they should immediately declare and go on the offensive, go and attack. Because if they want to save the Ashes, they've got to bowl out Australia by only batting once.
Ali Mehdi, Nathan Lyon factor, how big of a blow is that for Australia?
Massive loss for him, because his presence over here, his ability to take wickets, to that confidence he could. Look, this is one player who's been playing 100 straight test matches. To not have him and have a frontline spinner, he is massive, and he could be the turning factor for the Ashes.
Sabir, it's very important, because I just don't look at Nathan Lyon only for the Ashes. I think he becomes a very important player for Australia in the World Cup, because they're playing in India.
Absolutely, I still remember in 2011 World Cup, Australia basically brought Nathan Khawaja as well, the off spinner. He bowled wonderfully well in Sri Lankan pitches, in Indian pitches as well. So they are basically really missing, some off spinner. They have Nathan Lyon as well. Adam Zampa is a wonderful prospect for test matches, for ODIs, the leg spinner as well. But they need to find some off spinners, especially in the red ball cricket as well. They are really badly missing Nathan Lyon. I think they should have gone for the specialist spinner. They basically opted for two all rounders like Cameron Green and Mitchell Marsh as well. They should have played I think Murphy, because they had an option of off spinner as well. But I mean, heads off to England. The way they are batting, the lead of 189 something is still more than 7 sessions are remaining in the in this particular test match as well. I think England basically took Australia for granted, especially in the first 2 test matches. I mean, bringing up Mark Wood as well, Chris Woakes, especially in the bowling department, strengthening their bowling, and as well as their batting changes. Harry Brooks, basically he was struggling. Then basically he played a matured inning in the third test match, playing 75 runs, match-winning knock as well. And even today, making up a 50 or something, for crucial, useful partnership with Bannister, captain as well. So he basically changed his cricket, like he played in Pakistan, Rawalpindi. So this is not Rawalpindi.
we get all the credit, we always do. So I think that's very interesting. But Sabir and Ali Mehdi, thank you very much for joining us. That wraps it up from me and the entire team. It's goodbye for now.